A Tale of Hidden Riches. Part 1. A Life in Shadows. A man named Ramu lived in a dusty corner of a small village nestled between mountains and meadows. He was known as the beggar who sat by the banyan tree. His hair was silvered by age and hardship, and his clothes were little more than faded rags sewn together over time. His voice was low, and his eyes were tired but not entirely empty. Every morning, Ramu hobbled out of his hutno, more than a broken shadand, strolled to the same spot beneath the old banyan tree in the marketplace. He spread out a woven mat and sat atop a sturdy old wooden box he used as a seat. Day after day, season after season, Ramu begged. "Spare a coin for an old man?" he would murmur, extending his cracked bowl with trembling hands. The villagers barely noticed him anymore. Some children would drop a sweet or two into his bowl on festive days. The butcher's apprentice gave him scraps of bread once in a while. A few travelers offered coins out of pity, but mostly Ramu was invisible. People passed by him like wind around a stone, acknowledging his presence but never pausing to look closely. To Ramu, life had always been this way, a daily struggle, a dull ache in the bones, a hunger that never truly left. Part 2. The Stranger and the Question. One warm spring morning, a stranger walked into the village. He was an old sage with a long white beard, wrapped in robes the color of dawn. His eyes sparkled with curiosity, and his steps were light, like a man who carried no burden. Walking through the square, he noticed Ramu sitting silently, bowling in his hand, head bowed. The sage observed him for a while from across the square, intrigued. Then, walking over, he sat gently beside the beggar and asked in a soft but clear voice, "How long have you been sitting here, brother?" Ramu looked up, surprised to be spoken to with such kindness. "Nearly 30 years, he said, "day in and day out. This is the only life I've known. I beg, I eat what I get, and I survive." The sage nodded thoughtfully and then pointed to the worn-out wooden box beneath Ramu. "And that box you sit on every day, what's inside it?" Ramu blinked. "This old thing? Nothing. It was left behind by someone long ago. It's solid and makes for a good seat. I've never looked inside." The sage tilted his head, smiling gently. "You've sat on it every day for 30 years and never once thought to open it." Ramu shrugged. "Why would I? What could possibly be in there for someone like me?" The sage leaned closer. "Sometimes," he said, "what you seek most is closer than you think. Will you open it?" Ramu hesitated. His fingers trembled as they reached for the lid. The box was old and dusty, with iron hinges rusted from rain and time. He hadn't touched it in years, but something about the sage's words made him curious. With a grunt, he pried it open. Part 3. The Hidden Treasure. Inside the wooden box, a breathtaking display glittered in the soft morning light pouring through the window. Gold coins, polished to a brilliant sheen, lay stacked in neat piles alongside strings of lustrous pearls, their iridescent sheen reflecting the sun's rays. Scattered among the coins, precious stones in a stunning array of colors: deep blues, vibrant greens, and fiery crimson sparkled like fragments of a rainbow. It was more treasure than Ramu had ever imagined, even in the wildest tales he had heard as a child. His eyes widened in disbelief, and his heart raced with exhilaration that left him momentarily breathless. He sat in stunned silence, transfixed by the fortune hidden away for decades, unacknowledged and unguarded. "All these years," he whispered, incredulous, "I've been struggling and begging while sitting on a treasure of untold worth." The sage, a figure of quiet wisdom, placed a comforting hand on Ramu's shoulder, grounding him in that surreal moment. "And so it is with many of us," he said gently, his voice calm and reassuring. "We traverse through life contending with feelings of emptiness, brokenness, or unworthiness. We often wait for others to bestow value upon us, not realizing that the true treasure lies within ourselves. But far too many of us never take the time to look." Ramu's hands shook with emotion as he reached out to touch the gold, feeling its cool, solid weight against his fingers. Tears brimmed in his eyes, not for the riches before him, but for the precious time he had lost, trapped in the belief that he was devoid of worth, unaware of the abundance that had been his all along. Part 4. Transformation. That day marked a turning point in Ramu's life, changing him forever. Instead of succumbing to the temptation of wealth and luxury, he chose a different path. With the treasure he discovered, he invested in building a small school to educate the village's children and a kitchen that provided nourishing meals for those struggling to make ends meet, just as he once had. Ramu continued to sit beneath the sprawling banyan tree, but his role had transformed. He was no longer a beggar. He blossomed into a storyteller, captivating the hearts and minds of children and weary travelers alike. Eager listeners gathered around him each day, drawn in by the enchanting stories. Ahe shared not tales of extravagant riches or glittering jewels, but profound narratives that encouraged introspection and self-discovery. He spoke of the importance of looking within ourselves, scrutinizing the beliefs that confine us, and recognizing the hidden worth that resides in every individual. With the sun shining warmly above and the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze, Ramu created a safe haven for all who approached him. Whenever a newcomer would sit beside him, visibly tired from their journey or burdened by life's challenges, Ramu would smile kindly. He would then point to the cool, supportive ground beneath them and ask sincerely, "Do you know what you're sitting on?"